What's up guys, and welcome to a new manager switch ups video. Today it's episode 4 and today we'll be focusing on Peter Schmeichel, the guy from Denmark that you may well know, and today he's going to be managing the Portuguese team Sporting. So he's played at Sporting before. Obviously what you'll recognise the most him for was his great 8-year period at Manchester United, but all in all he played for 7 clubs. So he started at Gladzake's Hero, I can't even pronounce that, Brøndby IF, and then he went to Manchester United for 8 years. He went to the club he's managing today for 2 years. He went to Villa for a year, and then he went to Manchester City for a year. And then after a 10-year gap, after getting out the game for 10 years, he's now got a job at Sporting Portugal. So we're going to see how he does at the club. Just a bit of a reminder that they are only in the Premier League this year, and there's 16 teams in the Portuguese Premier League that are academic. Well, you can see them all. Probably the biggest opponent would be Porto, with Pablo Fonseca in charge and a couple of great players there, like Jackson Martinez is probably the best player in the team, and but Sporting have got a decent team as well. Whether he decides to build on it, obviously the key player is the goalkeeper Rui Patricio, and as you can see, most of the players pretty good, and yeah, Sporting are a good squad, so I'd expect him to finish second this year behind Porto and then perhaps push on for the win next year, but you never know. Let's find out, shall we? I'll see you next year. 1 year gone, Peter Schmeichel has won the Portuguese Premier League Manager of the Year award. So how has Sporting done? They've only got to win the league. They have completely blown expectations, and in fact beat my predicted team to win the league by 9 points. The goal difference wasn't the best, however, and they didn't score the most, but I think it's fair to say they've done great. They've conceded the least goals in the league. They've got a lot more wins, and as you can see there, a lot less losses. Fantastic year for Sporting. Like I say, they have just brilliant, done my predictions proud, and Sporting have now qualified for the Champions Cup next year, so it'll be interesting to see how Peter Schmeichel does next year. So his players transfer history that he's brought in 5 players and he has sent out 3 players, the rest of them are free transfers and on loads. So the first player he's brought in is Neto Barola from Atletico Mineiro. He's been bought in for 1.4 million. He's a striker. Let's see how he's done this year. So this year he's had 5 appearances this year. Doesn't look like he's had any goals. Hold on. Let's just go on to his chat. He's had 9 appearances for the club this year. 5 goals, 1 assist, 1 player of the match. And the average rating for him was 7.05. It looks pretty good, you know, there. Pretty impressive. Shots on target, non-competitive footballs, 100%. And in league, 81%. So very impressive. And overall, 69% shots on target. So, how old is he? He is 26, but he looks like a kind of a backup striker to the 2 strikers, which are Jobson and also fair enough. He's playing normal striker. He must have been out most of the season then. Yeah, because if you look, his conditions are quite bad. But I don't know if that's just because he's been out for quite a lot of the year, but I don't know about that. So the next player he put in was Pedro Tirado from Belenenses. I can't even say the word. But 350k, 19-year-old, looks like a nice young player. In fact, he's played 25 games this year. In the second league for the B team, he's got 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 player of the match, and the average rating he's got is 6.86. So he's a centre back. He's had 3 players of the matches. His tackle is 4.15. Tackles 1, so he's won on average 4.15 tackles per the 90 minutes, which isn't actually that bad for a player that's quite young. So he looks like he's going to have a very bright future at Sporting. So I think he's been one that they've recruited themselves, because it looked like that he was at Atletico Rigunas beforehand when he was a very young lad. Then SLB got him after that, and obviously these 2 clubs didn't see much in him. So the Sporting have probably picked up a great guy there. Well done. So the next player is from FC Red Bull Salzburg, and that is Valon Berisha, and he's a Danish central attacking midfielder, and obviously the Danish connection. He's played 24 goals this year, 2 goals, 1 assist, and his average rating was 6.5. Just look at Red Bull Salzburg a minute. He was bought in there at 1.2 million. Now 30 games and scored 6 goals for them. But let's have a look. His pass rating was 57%. Shots on target average was 66%. His average rating was 6.51%. 2 goals, 2 assists, 1 yellow card. No player of the matches, but very impressive, I think it's fair to say, from the new player. So the next player is Jobson. So they've brought in a new strike force, obviously with Barola and Jobson. He was brought in for 750k, 26. I think that's the same as Barola. Yeah, exactly the same age, and he's Brazilian too. And he has played 18 games this season, 7 goals and 1 assist. So that's pretty good. Let's have a look. So he's got 10 goals. Out of everything, 1 assist, 1 player of the match. Fast rating is 52, sorry. Dribbling is 3, and then shots on target is 62 as an average, and the average rating is 6.95. So it looks like he's played pretty decently for Sporting. So the last one was just a loan deal for Lucas Anderson from Ajax. I'm not going to go into any detail about that. So the three signings that they did flog off were Andre Martin, surprisingly, to rivals FCP. He's done alright decently actually at FCP of FC Porto. He's had 21 games, 2 assists and 6.89 was the rating. Yeah, so he's played 21 games in total, pass rate of 81%. I'll tell you what, they picked up a good player there. I'm surprised that they've sold him. Next player is gone to Marseille, which is Adrian, who is Portuguese and he's 27, I believe. I've just looked. He's had 27 games for Marseille this year, 2 goals, 3 assists and 2 player in the matches. And the final player that left was only for 30k, but he was 23, Victor Golas. And as you can see, pretty small team. Liga I don't even know. Oh, the Romanian First League, right? Okay. So it's had 17 games in total this year, 19 conceded. What's CLN? CLN is clean sheets, right? So he's had 3 clean sheets, and not bad at all for the Romanian First League, but I've never heard of them before. So that's it for the first year. Very well done to Sporting. Let's have a look at some of the great matches that they won. So the biggest win of the season was against Arouca and Estoril, both 5-0 wins. They managed to get 3-0 against FCP. Let's have a look, shall we, at the Taça de Portugal. So I think that's pretty much the Portugal Cup, I think. Academica, they won against them in the first round. They beat Arouca in the 4th, Fatima in the 5th, and then they actually lost to Estoril in the 6th round. And then in the League Cup, they got to... Let's have a look. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Right. Hold on a minute. I think I've done that wrong. Yeah, it's fine, don't worry. League Cup, so they lost in the first instance to Arouca in the League Cup Group C. They then won against FCP 3-0, then did the same against Academica, and then in the semi-final they beat SLB 1-0. But to our surprise, P. Vieira, who are in the Premier League, who finished 5th this season, actually beat them in the final, which is quite a surprise. They looked like they had some of the worst players on, like Freddie Montero wasn't playing normally for them. I recognise that name for some reason. It'll come to me in a minute. And Andre Calero, who hasn't really been playing much. But anyway, that's the first year done. Let's see how Schmeichel does the second year. Can he keep it going? And also, can he do anything in Champions League? Let's find out. Sporting could not retain the title. However, with only 1 point between the top 3, and Sporting getting the best goal difference by an absolute mile, I bet Schmeichel was gutted not to win the championship. As you can see, they scored 72 goals, 15 more than the champions, FC Porto, and they actually conceded less goals, 4 less goals than Porto. But however, they've just got to put that behind them, and unfortunately Porto have won this year. So what has Porto done in the transfer market this year? So he's only bought one player in actually, but he's bought Didac Villa in from Aston Villa, AC Milan on a loan fee of 200k per month, and the only sign they've made is Ricardo Costa from Valencia for 350k, and he's Portuguese. He's had 20 games this year, 2 assists and 1 player of the match. Past rating was at 72%, and shots on target was 37%, and his average rating was 6.95. Pretty good if you ask me, but he's getting very old at the age of 34. So they have only let go of 3 players again, which is Gerson Magrao, who's gone to Palmeiras, and he played 15 games in the loan spell there before actually buying him permanently and got 1 assist. And then the second player was Joao Elite, who's gone to P. Ferreira, and he's played not even once this year. And then the last player they sold was Vladimir Stokovic, and he went to Rio Ave, and he's played absolutely no games there. So, as you can see, they finished second in the league. But, however, how did they do in the Champions League? That's what I want to know. So, in the Champions League, Group F didn't go that well for them. They finished bottom, and to be fair, let's admit it, they had a really hard group. You know, they had AS Monaco, who I see have bought Daniel Sturridge from Liverpool, which is quite a surprise there. But anyway, moving on. Javi Hernandez has gone to Barcelona, actually. So, 2 teams, really hard, 3 really hard teams there. AS Monaco, Barcelona and Milan. So, getting a point against Milan in the home game wasn't actually that bad at all. They lost 2-1 to Monaco, 2-1 to Barcelona, 3-0 to Milan, then they drew 2-2 to Milan, then they lost 4-1 to Monaco, and then 1-0 to Barcelona. Unfortunate there, but they probably had the hardest group. So the Super Tacker, which was, I think, to do with the final of the, I don't know what it was anyway, but the Super Tacker this year they actually won. What the hell is it doing this for? They actually won the Super Tacker against SLB, so they got a really quick trophy, and then the League Cup they got to the final again for the 2nd year in a row, and they lost against SLB. However, this time dominating their Group A, in fact, and making it up to the semi-final really easy, beating Martimo, and then they lost in the second semi-final yet again. Absolutely shocking. I'm disappointed, pal. Anyway, so in the Premier League, how have they done? The best result. What a result. 7-0. Wow. Ridiculous. 4-1 against Beer and Mart. 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 3-2, 3-1, 3-1, 3-all. 3-all, 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 3-all. Then they lost 2-3 to SLB. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Then they lost to Porto and Estoril 2-1. Then they drew to Maritimo and Rio Ave 1-all. Then they beat P. Ferreira and Vit, can't even say that name, 1-0 each. And then they lost to Ave 1-0. And then they drew with Vit Setúbal 0-0. So pretty decent 2 years for Peter Schmeichel at Sporting. Well, he's added to his trophy cabinet anyway, because he's won the Portuguese Premier League with Sporting and the Super Tacker. So a pretty successful 2 years for him. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave suggestions for new manager switch-ups videos, but apart from that, I've been reviews to RJ. Good luck, Peter Schmeichel, for the future, and I'm out.